Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the God Talk Guys. That's who we are, right?
Now we are, yes.
We are now. A moment ago we weren't, but now we are. So each week at this time, we talk about God, faith, religion, spirituality, drawing from traditions all around the world, both great and small, to talk about faith and religion and just see where it gets us. See if we can draw something out to carry us through the next week. Some nugget, some pearl of great price that we can glean from this conversation that will do us all some good. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Well, we were playing a game before, pushing.
Push hands.
Yes, we can't.
He was cheating.
No, well,
That's why he was winning.
Have you thumb wrestled?
I got arthritis in my thumb.
I guess
so.
we cannot do that. Okay.
Yeah.
I tried to add a. So.
He wanted it documented that he was beating me up.
No.
Yes. Your inner bully.
We're now going to. This show is going to be very wonderful because Michael is going to speak for both himself and me, and that makes.
I will do. This is your show. My show will be in half an hour. I will do whatever you want me to do. I will be your slave. Your slave. What do you want me to do? I need information up front. What do you want me to do?
Be yourself. Whatever.
What is that?
I know that might be hard.
What the heck is that?
I know that might be hard. Or try.
I will try.
Or don't try.
Now I'm getting only confused. Yeah.
No, don't try.
I won't try, and I will try. I will try to not try.
Even that. No, even better. Just don't try, and whatever comes, comes. But take a breath. Oh, good. So we're both not going to try to do anything because this is a very loving Cambridge audience, and we don't have to.
And there's nothing that we need to do.
There's nothing exactly. We could be.
We could be in total silence for the remainder of the show. We could be like the Blues Brothers. The shot of them from the front of the vehicle as they're driving to New York with a full tank of gas, a full pack of cigarettes, and they're just sitting there in their black glasses. That could be us.
Yes, or we can do it without glasses. So I vote, if it's okay with you, to try that for a little while.
To try what?
Just silence. How does that sound?
I need some structure around it. A little while. What is a little while?
Okay, how long would you like to be silent?
How about 10 seconds for starters? How about 10 breaths? And whoever hits 10 breaths first breaks.
No. Why don't we say at 7:05, at 7:03:15? Would that work? No.
I'm thinking of our audience, and I'm thinking about losing the little audience that we have.
We have a beautiful one.
I'm hoping and trusting that there is at least one person
Elizabeth
out
is there, and Janet.
Kath is out there, and thank you for being out there. We couldn't do it without you.
Well, we actually
could do it.
And we might
but it would have even less meaning than it already has.
It has a lot of meaning to me.
Say more about that. Say more about all of the meaning that this has for you.
Well, as we were saying before, this is something. I'm skeptical of words, but the words we were using, something like a prayer.
Yeah.
My poems are like prayers.
Yeah.
Prayer means to.
You're reaching for something.
It's to ask for.
It's to ask. And to ask is to reach. Is that correct? That you have this longing, that you have this need, that you have this ache, you have this hunger, and so you are asking to have that filled. Is that right? Prayer.
No, for me, but it sounds wonderful for you.
That's what it is for me.
Yes.
So tell me what it is for you. Tell me what prayer is for you.
I think it. I was telling you before the show. I go on my rooftop, my flat roof, at night and in the morning.
Mm-hmm. That's the way you begin the day and the way that you end the day?
Yes.
Okay.
And I look in the four directions, and there's beautiful trees around, and my neighbor has a garden on the roof. And I go down with my eyes and up.
So you bow or nod toward each of the four directions?
Somehow I'm trying to feel the trees with my eyes.
Okay.
And breathe it in, and when I do this again and again, it gets quite something to breathe in the tree. I had a new friend that gave the tree a name, Sophie.
Mm-hmm.
And that
Oh,
changed.
Sophie is the name of the tree?
Sophie, just Sophie.
Sophie is the name of the tree?
Yes, Sophie's the name of the tree.
Yeah. Sophie as in wisdom?
Yes,
Sophia?
yes.
Okay.
And so that felt different to give the tree a name.
Mm-hmm.
Then we went downstairs once and touched it,
Mm-hmm.
felt it.
Which direction is Sophie in?
Sophie's north.
Okay.
I bought a compass, so I know directions.
Okay. Okay.
Northish. And then to all the directions, and
Is Mecca east? I guess it would be, right?
Mecca would probably be east of us, yes.
Yeah.
And so that's, east is, yeah, north is there and east is there, and south is behind us and west is there. That's why West Cambridge is kind of that way.
Now, East Cambridge is that way.
Yes, East
and
Cam-
that's where I live. I
Oh,
live
so
in...
maybe I have it wrong.
Now,
North?
East Cambridge is there.
I might have it wrong, right. So north, well, we'll forget that for a moment.
That's going nowhere. Perfectly. It's going perfectly nowhere.
Oh, right, no, north is that way, and that way is east. That's right.
Well, the
'cause that's East
Charles
Cambridge.
River is there.
Yes.
Well, the Charles River actually is there and
Yes.
and there.
No, but...
Because the Charles River turns.
Yes, no, but, we will be back at some time in the future. With
Knowing what
with
the heck we're talking
with
about.
my compass. On reading.
Okay,
Yeah.
deal.
Okay, anyway, so it grows on me to do it every day.
Mm-hmm.
And the beauty of it is
So
astounding.
prayer is an evolving and growing and discovering thing for you. Is that right?
Yes, I mean, I spend most of my day writing and reading inside.
Mm-hmm.
And thank God I have this ritual to go out in the morning. And
Otherwise, you'd never get out.
I might not. And it's very beautiful, as I'm sure you know, beyond words, really.
Oh yeah.
And so it's more. I mean, it's hard to, when things are very beautiful, it's hard to use words.
Mm-hmm. But you're a poet. Try.
Oh,
You're on the spot.
No, it's not that poem. It feels nourishing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like I'm yearning for anything because it's there. I mean, I have a certain song that I sing at night sometimes. Love and fun in shade and sun, and health and wealth to our dear ones, and everyone, hoping to send health and wealth and love and fun to you, and to people that are dear to me, and to everybody else.
So it sounds like a blessing.
Yes, that's
It is
a blessing.
among other
A
things
song
that it might
blessing,
be. It's a
yes.
blessing.
To just send, so that, but it's more. I mean, when we send a letter, we're not yearning. We're just. I mean, you can look at it that way, but it's more. I'm wanting to give a blessing to you.
A couple of weeks ago, or maybe it was last week, it all just kind of runs together. I did my solo show. I did a solo show here and talked about the fundamental prayers. What are the basics? If you're going to get down to the brass tacks when it comes to prayers, what are the words? And one of them was about blessing. Blessing, basically saying yes to all that it is, or the word blessing itself, just blessing that which is. That's one of the fundamental prayers. Another one is help, and certainly when we're in desperate need, that's oftentimes when our heart really opens up, because boy, we need something.
Yep.
We need some kind of strength. We need some kind of help, no matter where it comes from, but help.
My friend just said that only those who know the total absence of God can be with God.
I think there's a lot to
Yes,
that.
yes.
There's a lot to that.
Because then we're
But-
open and we need.
We're ready for anything.
Yeah.
And just to get to the point that I was trying to reach, which is that one of the and so I guess help would be one of those primary prayers where you're really aching for something, you're calling for something, you're reaching
Oh,
for
I
something.
do that often. Yes. Well, those are without intention. Lord, help! Lord, help me. Those are not. These other prayers are more. I'm out at night and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Those others are without thinking. Help me, Lord. I don't even like the word Lord, but that's the words that come.
Yeah. I totally
Yeah.
understand that. I mean, there are words that come
Yeah.
that if I step back and analyze them or think about them, I would try to arrange them or fit them a little bit differently. But in those moments of desperation, in those moments of need, it's like, help me, Jesus.
I didn't even know
Lord Jesus Christ, just out of nowhere.
I didn't even know it was a prayer. It was just, help me, Lord, help me. My mother, when she was dying of Parkinson's, could hardly talk, but she kept saying hundreds, if not more than hundreds of times a day, help me, help me, help me. And I tried to get her to say, help me, God, and she did, but it didn't matter. And she went back to help me, help me, help. And I would ask her, Mom, what do you need? She said, help me, help me, help me.
I think that is an essential part of what it means not only to be a human being, to be any kind of being, is to have this longing for something that Rilke, the poet Rainier Maria Rilke, often used with a capital S, something with a capital S. It's that thing that we're longing for, that we are praying will fill us. And out there in the world, there are all kinds of opportunities to try and fill this inner void, fill this inner vacuum with merchandise or with clothing or with certain kinds of relationship. But really that the longing that we're trying to fulfill is something essential to being a being. And there are those who would say that the only one who can fill that void is God. Whatever God means to you, there is something inside you that can also fill that part inside you that is aching, that is needing, that is longing, that wants to be filled. And so that's one of the great, that's what I find in prayer. And that's what I take to prayer, is the longing, and sometimes it's filled. Something happens, something is I am transformed somehow in the prayer, and I come out of it different on the other side. And what do you think about that?
I mean, I love it. My way of translating it is, I couldn't feel complete on my rooftop. It can feel complete now, even talking with you. But when I remember to feel the chair under me and the floor under the chair and then the earth under, and this feels like a support, and even the physical support. I mean, in some people call the Gaia a goddess, the earth a goddess.
Yeah.
And so I could feel
Gaia.
Yes, I could feel support. Mother Earth is supporting me. And if I'm really good, even nourishing me and holding me and even cherishing me. Hi, Mother Earth. And I can feel that in your presence and apart from you. If I could be, and then I could feel the air.
Well, there's nothing like taking a breath to really change everything.
Especially on the rooftop. It's a little harder inside. And that feels like sky energy, or so there's the love between earth and sky. And when I'm centered like this, I do this when I go dancing, this is warm up, then I can be with you in a way different way. I don't need you in the same way.
The thing that comes to me as you're describing this is the infinitude, if that's a word, the infinitude that we are. That as we go through the day, there are lots and lots of different states of consciousness that we inhabit. And like from moment to moment. And in each of those moments, we are a little bit different than we were the moment before. We were changed somehow. And it's just like this bottomless well of beingness that is available to us if we're open to it. It's just this endlessly rich and beautiful and sometimes horrible or sometimes very difficult recognition of the mysterious of the mysterious.
And this would be maybe the opposite of what I was saying. When I'm with you, I need to feel that same...
What do you want from me? What do you want?
Ultimately, I want to be able to feel the life coming through you too.
That's the goal.
The same thing I was feeling with myself, the earth and the sky and the flow, because the earth helps make the weather as much as the
Sure,
sky.
sure.
A cold earth will change it's one big recycling system.
Yes, yes. Well, what I wonder if what you're talking about is the mystic's goal. I mean, the mystic, and I think that we all have moments, we have mystic moments where things, we get for a moment just a luminous vision of the way things are, just for an instant. And the goal is, is it possible to have this recognition of beauty and oneness all the time? And so the mystic's or the seeker's quest is to find that way or those techniques or that person or those people or that church or whatever it is, that natural setting that will bring us closer to that recognition of the exquisite beauty that this moment offers for us right now.
And in you too. But it's funny, it's not just your beautiful face and your wonderful hair and your wonderful words. Perhaps I think this is agreeing with you. There's a life force coming through you that I can feel, and you've been expressing it. But if I don't feel the life force coming through you, I mean, in the Christian tradition, I would say to feel Christ coming through you. Mm-hmm. In the philosopher Henri Bergson might say it's the élan vital.
Okay.
Which is more French than just life force. It has an élan.
Chinese may call it qi.
Yes,
maybe.
Yes, whatever. So I need to feel that coming through both of us, and then that feels complete. And your words, as my friend Gene Mason said, words should be an improvement on the silence, or don't speak.
That's something to live by.
So that's when I'm feeling well. Then I'm feeling I don't need anything but this. As this moment, I'm not yearning for anything. Yeah. When I'm crying, like I used to do it more than, I'm not sure I do it so much anymore or at all. Lord help me. That's a very, very different place. I didn't even know that was a prayer until recently. I realized, oh my, that's a prayer. That's a primal prayer.
It's one of the most basic.
I don't know why it was built into me, because the Lords are. We don't live in the Middle Ages.
Yeah.
I've never met a Lord. I've never been to Britain, but somehow in me, and my parents were totally a-religious. They weren't interested at all. Mm-hmm. But somehow
a-religious, yeah.
Yeah, somehow a-religious. Somehow I heard, Lord, help me for thousands of times, day after day after day.
Well, you come from a tradition where Lord really means something. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, what I'm looking at right down there is a Bible.
Oh, yes.
And it's open to, what is it open to?
It's open to Matthew 25.
Okay. Well, what you got there?
So this is in some ways, the complement of what we're saying.
So this is the first book in the New Testament.
Yes.
The Gospel of St. Matthew.
It's lovely the way Michael says St. Matthew. Most of us wouldn't, but thank you. It's very beautiful. That in itself.
That's where I come from.
Yes,
what can I say?
would just say, okay, I would say Matthew. It's very beautiful. Well, this is long. I'm going to start at least.
If it's long, I might cut you off.
Yes, you're not supposed to. This is a Jewish.
That's right, the Jewish way.
Yeah.
And as a Jew, you can tell me to do that.
Yes, when the earthly Son comes in his glory.
So that's like you going out on the back porch. So maybe I'm just going to... I'm going to be your commentary.
And all the angels with him.
Okay. So you go out in the morning and the sun is up, the sun is rising.
Yes. Then he will sit upon the throne of his glory.
And who is saying this? Is this Jesus speaking?
Yes.
Okay.
About himself.
What chapter and verse are we, just for those who might
Matthew 25.
Matthew 25. So this is getting towards the end of Matthew. This is like getting towards Jesus' last words.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so he's summing up. This is what he's got to say. Yeah. I don't have long to go here, so let me get my best shot.
It says in 26, in 2 days it'll be Pesach, and that's when he.
That's the Passion.
Yep.
Okay. So say it now or forever hold your peace. So he's
all the nations will be assembled before him.
Yes.
And he will separate them one from the other.
So I need to back up here just so I can understand what's going on, and recognizing that we have 7 minutes left, and whatever we dip into,
We
we'll
might
have to-
continue next week. There's no hurry.
next week or next show. We'll see.
Yes.
Which is in next show is right after this one. So this is Jesus speaking.
Yes. Jeshua.
Jeshua.
Yeah, on my show.
On your show. Okay. Jesus next show, Jeshua
He
this
was
show.
never called Jesus in his lifetime, yes.
So he's speaking from the Christ consciousness or from the messianic consciousness here.
We don't know. He's saying this. But
I'm just doing
that's a kind way to say it. But he's saying when the earthly, he's talking about himself in the third
Well,
person.
presumably.
Yes, that's
I
true.
mean, the Gospels, in fact, all of the scriptures have been interpreted and reinterpreted for every single age, if not every single decade.
Yes.
There's a new translation with a new idea because every time that we go to any of the scriptures, we want to come away with something that means something to us. And so you're going to come away with something different from me because you come from a different background, you have a different history, different people in your life. But each of us wants to come away having unpacked the scripture in such a way so that it makes sense.
That's very beautiful because I was just loving this, but now that you've said that, I want to see what I can get from it for me at this moment, something new.
Okay.
I don't know what it is.
That's a great way to go into it. In fact, I think there's a term.
I just learned that from you.
Oh, just now? Just this second?
Yes.
Well, then the show was successful.
Yes. And all the nations will be assembled before him, and he will separate them one from the other. These are nations. These are not people.
So this is the when the earthly son comes in his glory.
Yes.
He's come to separate the wheat from the chaff.
Yes, the goats from the sheep.
Yep.
As the shepherd separates the sheep from the goats, and he will place the sheep at his right hand, but the goats he will place at his left.
Well, there's a lot of symbolism there. Jeshua often spoke of he knowing his sheep and his sheep knowing him, and that he was their caretaker, he was their tender, and he would ensure that they would be cared for. Now, when I think of goats, I mean, I love goats. I love their square irises, which are like really strange. Have you ever seen a goat up close?
I must have in Israel, but I don't remember.
They're odd creatures, but I really love them. But when you think goats, you think, of course, of Satan, right?
I don't, but thank you.
Some do. I mean, the image of Satan with the horns and the pentagram, but it's the head of a goat.
So you might want to give me a little time, since we're almost out of time, just to read this next paragraph.
So do you want me to shut up?
Maybe for just a moment. It's hard because I love what you're saying.
Okay.
Just because time is.
Okay.
Then the king will say to those that is right. The earthly son has become the king.
Okay.
Come, you who are blessed by my Father, and inherit the kingdom prepared for you. Since the creation of the world. It was all in, the energy was there to create. For I was hungry and you gave me to eat. I was thirsty and you gave me to drink. I was a stranger and you took me in. I was naked and you gave me clothing. I was sick and you took care of me. I was in prison and you came to me. Then the just will answer the king, saying, they don't know, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you drink? And when did we see you a stranger and take you in, or naked and give you clothing? And when did we see you sick or in prison and come to you? And the king will answer them, saying, I tell you that all those things you have done for one who was least in my family, you have also done for me.
So what you do for another here in this world, what you give to another, you give to the Lord.
Yes, to God. The Father here now, not even the Son. I mean, that is so astounding. It's miraculous that anyone would say that, let alone leave out the truth of it for the moment.
Well, one thing that comes to my mind is that what Jeshua was preaching was a radical, universal love.
That is wonderful in itself, but to say also that the God, the Jewish God, which was separate from the earth, it was very important for Jews that God is different than the earth. We relate to someone who's other than us. And Jeshua is saying that if I visit you when you're sick, I'm visiting God.
What he's suggesting, it sounds to me, what he's suggesting is that the separation between God and not God is very, very thin indeed. That boundary is very thin. And to love another human being is to love God. It's the same.
There's no
thing.
boundary. Now, what's amazing, we only have a minute and a half, is this is about nations. This isn't just about you and I. This is about nations. This is an extraordinarily political statement.
Wouldn't it be something if just one nation followed the precepts that Jeshua laid down in the
Well,
Gospels?
they're trying in Scandinavia closer, and there's Christian parties in Northern Europe, Christian socialists, and are trying to do this. I had one friend from Norway, and she said she yearned to come to America because it was so boring there. And she said you weren't allowed to be excellent. Everyone had to be nice and caring, and you couldn't be unique and different and excellent. So there are challenges here also.
Yes. And that anecdote is probably the last anecdote we're going to see, because we're coming to the end of our kingdom here on the God Talk, guys. The kingdom will be reborn in 3 minutes.
Wow.
After this show is over. I will be sitting on the right hand of my beloved brother here, and he will be sitting on my left. But we've got 10 seconds to say goodbye, so let's do it now. Let's bless our beloved audience and bless each other.
Wow.